What if I told you you could build a computer, specialized computer, that you feed electricity and it spits out money? True story. Stick around.
So in 2017, I heard about this thing called Bitcoin. It was all over the news, caught my attention. I started doing some research, and I had two options. I could either take my money, give my money to something called a cryptocurrency exchange, and in exchange for my dollars, they would give me Bitcoin, Ethereum, any cryptocurrency of my choice. The alternative was to build a specialized computer called a mining rig that would contribute to the blockchain, perform some kind of magical math with the graphics cards, the GPUs, and in return for that mathematical computation, I would get awarded cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum. Cryptocurrency is very volatile, prices skyrocket and plummet, and for me, an insurance policy was if I build a mining rig, I would, if it all went to zero and cryptocurrency went away, I would at least have physical gear that I could sell off and try to break even on this, experiment. So that was about 3.5 years ago. And I'm here to tell you that I broke even on my investment. I'm ahead. It's really cool. My mining rig helps heat my home office, which gets a little chilly 6 months out of the year. But let me show you what it's all about, what I've done. And, you can build a computer on a mining rig and make money in cryptocurrency. It's kind of crazy. So here we go. Check it out. So the first thing I'd like to show you is why I got interested in cryptocurrency in the first place. Right here in the fall of 2017, as you can see, the value started to increase after a very long time of being stagnant. And it was all over the news. Everybody started talking about it. Everybody and their grandmother were buying Bitcoin and going to get rich. That's what the news told you. And, if you looked at the chart, it was pretty enticing. And, all the projections were, it's going to go to the moon. It's going to go to 100,000, 200,000, get in now. And that's what a lot of people did. So the first thing I did was I started to do some research. What is this thing? How is this make pretend digital currency? I mean, is this nonsense? Is this a Ponzi scheme? Like, what's going on here? So I'm a tech guy. I wanted to understand the tech behind it and try to draw some conclusions of my own of, is this worth my time and effort? So let's get some terminology out of the way and what this is. So what is cryptocurrency? It's a digital, encrypted, and decentralized money system based on blockchain technology. So it's not paper money, it's digital, it's encrypted, so it's safe. Decentralized is big, and we'll get into that in a minute. But if you think of every other money system on the planet, it's centralized. There's a government entity that regulates the money system, the banking in that area, that country, that nation, and they control it. As an example, if you make somebody mad enough, they can freeze your assets. So that's a centralized money system. Cryptocurrency is decentralized. There's some pretty neat articles out there about how certain countries' economies were failing, and the governments of those countries did an asset grab. They froze everybody's assets, and some people diversified their assets into cryptocurrency and were able to insulate themselves from those government money grabs. So anyway, not in the scope of this, but some things you start to research and you start to see the advantage of something like a decentralized, money system. So it's based on blockchain technology. What is that? Blockchain is an open distributed ledger that records transaction in code. What is a ledger? Think of your bank account. You have $1,000 and you spend $200, and somebody has to keep that tally so that the next time you go to spend some money, they know you have $800, not $1,000, because you spent $200. The biggest thing with keeping track of money is in cryptocurrency, what I've heard called like double spend. If you have $100, you can't pay this person 100, that person 100, because you only have 100. One of those people doesn't get paid. So keeping track of transactions in something called a ledger is paramount to any money system so that someone knows that they're going to get paid. So that's what the blockchain does. It's a distributed ledger that keeps track of all the transactions. Proof of work is one of the methods of verifying those transactions. So proof of work is you feed electricity into a computer. That computer does complex hashing mathematics that I don't understand and solves a problem. And whoever solves the problem gets to validate that block of those transactions, add it to the ledger, to the blockchain, and that miner gets awarded cryptocurrency for their efforts, for their electricity, for their hardware. So proof of work verifies the transactions on a blockchain. An algorithm provides math problems for computers to solve. So that's what all the miners are doing. They're all trying to solve this mathematical problem for this next transaction so that it can be verified, validated, and added to the blockchain. Every single, let's use Bitcoin as an example because it's the mother of all cryptocurrencies. Every transaction that's ever been made in Bitcoin is in that ledger. I don't know if it's up to like 160, 200 gigs now of that actual blockchain. But that's how that goes. Each participating computer, often referred to as a miner, solves a mathematical puzzle that helps verify a group of transactions referred to as a block, then adds them to the blockchain ledger. Just talked about that. First computer to do so successfully is rewarded with a small amount of cryptocurrency for its efforts. So I started to do some research. I started to see how this worked. I saw the value in a decentralized money system. It gets a bad rap. There was a lot of pushback I remember reading about, that this is, how people are paying for illegal things on the dark web. And, there's people buying houses and cars. I think there's professional athletes that have been asked to be paid in Bitcoin as an example. So there are very valid, legitimate uses for this. But it seems to be tied to this dark underbelly, illegal thing, which I don't really get, but there's just many people using cash in illegal underbelly stuff. So I don't know why cryptocurrency would be treated any different. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents on it. So Bitcoin was going up, did some research, saw what was going on. And then I learned about mining. And, I had a choice. I could either take my cash, give my cash to a cryptocurrency exchange, and in exchange for my dollars, they would get me cryptocurrency. I opted to build a mining rig because, this is all very speculative and volatile. And I thought if it all goes to zero and it's worthless in a month, a year, at least I have hardware that I can sell off and recoup some of my losses, hopefully try to break even. So that's what I did. Through my research, and I'll put a link to all this stuff in the comments, but I found this guy VoskCoin, and he was just very generous, and he's got a YouTube channel and just spent hours and hours creating content showing people, what this stuff is, how to build a rig. And he's really the person that I followed on how to do this. So watched a lot of videos, figured out a parts list. So let's look at the parts list next. Now, I wound up spending more than I wanted to on all of this. All told, you'll see the total down here was about $2,400 that I spent. Didn't need to spend that much. Part of why I overspent was because I was buying graphics cards when there was a global shortage because of the cryptocurrency craze. So I overpaid on GPUs. I also bought this really nice aluminum open air mining case that I didn't necessarily have to. You could build a very, cheap case. And I also went with a pretty high-end power supply because I wanted it to be very power efficient. But if you've never built a PC, you need power, you need a motherboard, you need a disk to run the operating system. What I don't have in here is actually the USB. So this runs off of a USB drive. I used software called Simple Mining. I think it's at simplemining.net. Again, I'll put it in the comments. Let's go down the parts list. So I needed a power supply. It was $280. I needed a motherboard. That was $138. This is a dual core Pentium, which is perfect for this. It's a light workload. The GPUs do all the work. The CPU is just running the Linux-based operating system. So the $69 for a dual core, $50 for 4 gigs of RAM. This was that case I told you about. It's $180. I'm glad I got it, but you don't need to do that. So risers are, and I'll have to show you a picture or video, but your graphics cards are not sitting on the motherboard. A motherboard can, I think, accommodate 1, maybe 2 graphics cards if you plug them right in. On this particular rig I have, you can have up to 6 graphics cards attached. So what the risers do is it plugs into the slot on the motherboard, and then there's a wire that goes up to a separate card that your GPU can plug into. So it's a way to get your GPUs up off of the motherboard but still connected. 3 GPUs were close to $1,700 for a grand total of $2,400. Now, at the time, so you need to do some math for this. So let me show you some math here. So you're going to build hardware and you're going to try to make money with it mining cryptocurrency. A good place to start is what's your break-even point. How long you're going to spend X, how long is it going to take you to break even, so then you can start to come out ahead and make money on this. So you can go to this site whattomine.com and you basically put in what your hardware is. So for me, I have 3 EVGA 1070 Ti's. So you put it in there and you hit this button to make it green. You put in your electricity cost. Last time I checked, it was like 0.14 something kilowatts per hour. So you put it in there and you hit calculate. And what this will tell you is how much money you can make mining all the top cryptocurrencies. It's listed from the top to the bottom. I should point out that I started on something called NiceHash. What NiceHash does is it's a service that you use. They basically buy mining power from miners, and then they sell it off to people who are looking for, the people who don't want to build mining rigs, but want to buy that computational power to be able to mine cryptocurrency. I used NiceHash for a couple of months. It was great until they got hacked. I forget how many millions of dollars that they lost, but this is something else we'll talk about. But if you have cryptocurrency, the last thing you want to do is keep it on an exchange, because the exchange's wallets where the cryptocurrency is kept are connected to the internet. All the exchanges get hacked. I don't know if it's $75 billion have been stolen, unrecoverable, uninsured, since all this stuff kicked off. But what I'm going to recommend you do, which is what I did, is you buy a hardware wallet. It's cold storage, it's called. It's not connected to the internet. And the only way anybody could steal it from you is to break into your house, find it, and either have your PIN or find your seed. We'll talk about that later. So long story short, I was using NiceHash. They owed me like $120 for 1 month of mining. They got hacked, and they said, well, we're going to spend, the next 12 to 24 months trying to pay everybody back. I was out. Like, all right, you guys work this out. I'm going to go a different route. So what I did, you can't mine Bitcoin with what I have, which are graphics cards, GPUs. Bitcoin, you need specialized ASIC miners. They're loud, they're power hungry, and every time a new one comes out, the old one is relatively worthless. So what I did was I built a rig that could mine Ethereum, which is second in market cap. Bitcoin is pretty much a store of value, they call it. It's almost like digital gold, where Ethereum, it's got something to do with digital contracts. And again, I'm no expert. I just know that there's a lot of value in Ethereum per market cap, and it's got something to do with contracts, which, there's always going to be contracts. That sounded important to me. So anyway, when you look on what to mine here today, it says that I can mine $8.15 worth of Ethereum a day with my current rig, my 3 cards. And after electricity costs, I'm making, a little over $6 a day. So that's not bad. Now, I should tell you that before Bitcoin took off again, I was at around $1 a day, 33 cents a day. All the cryptocurrencies are tied to Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin does poorly, they all do poorly. So it just so happens right now that I can mine, almost $7 a day Ethereum because Bitcoin's doing great. When it tanks, and it will, this is all going to go to, to bad place again. Everybody's going to be sad who's in this, but so this is what I did. What to mine, I looked at how much I could make, and I'm like, okay. And then I did a break-even calculation, and I think with the $2,400, and I think I was netting about $100 a month after electricity costs at the time in 2017 with this rig. So, it was like $1,200 a year. So basically, I was probably going to break even 2 years. Now, that seems like a long time, but in my mind, I thought, well, A, I'm doing it for fun. B, I'm doing it because I dig the tech. I like the fact of the decentralized and the ledger and the blockchain, and I could actually participate in that and help with that. That's kind of neat. So I figured after 2 years, it's all gravy. So I was in it for the long term. So you've gotten this far. You've come up with your parts list. You've purchased all your parts. You've built your mining rig. You've gone out to Simple Mining. You've downloaded their software, installed it on a USB, plug the USB into your mining rig, fire it up, do a little bit of configuration in the Simple Mining GUI there, and you're up and running. You're going to need a receive address. Most likely you will join a mining pool where you pool your compute with all the other miners, and it increases the likelihood that you'll validate a block in the blockchain and get rewarded mining cryptocurrency rewards. So you're going to need a receive address. There's one of two ways to get that. If you're on an exchange, which again, I looked it up, the exchanges have been hacked in excess of 1.74 billion with a B dollars since this whole thing kicked off in 2009, 2010. So in roughly a decade, $1.74 billion has been hacked, stolen from exchanges, never to be seen from again, no insurance, the end, sorry. So what I recommend and what I did is you get what you see on the screen here. It's called cold storage or a hardware wallet. This is the one I got, the Ledger Nano S. You can get one for $60. And what this is your private keys are stored on it. It's only connected to the internet. When you plug it in, log in with your PIN, and update your transactions, it'll pull down from the blockchain all the transactions. So if somebody sent you money, it'll pull down, it'll show, in your software, what your total assets are. But this will protect you from having your assets on an exchange that can and will be hacked. History shows that. So for $60, you get this cold storage, you set it up. Your private keys are stored on there. So unless someone were to know where you live, break into your home, find where you have this thing hidden, and either know your PIN or find your 24-word seed, which is tied to your private keys, and you can look that up, and it's not all that exciting, but you need a PIN to get into this thing. If they don't have the PIN, they'd have to find your 24-word seed phrase. For instance, if you have a hardware wallet and it breaks or you lose it, you can still recover your crypto with your seed phrase. It moves all your crypto to another hardware wallet. But I would strongly recommend getting a hardware wallet. Just Google cryptocurrency hacks, of all time, and if after spending a few minutes reading that you don't think $60 is worth protecting your investment, your assets, then I guess that's a decision you can make. But so just a couple closing thoughts. I'm a tech guy, right? I work in tech. This is a tech channel. So the underlying tech behind cryptocurrency is blockchain, and blockchain isn't going away. So if you look up top companies, large companies employing blockchain technology, you'll see companies like Citigroup, Facebook, BMW. Forbes has a list of the top 50 companies. All these gigantic mega companies are adopting blockchain technology. My definition earlier may have not been the best. It was more tied to cryptocurrency. But if you look at some other definitions of what blockchain is, it's basically a database of transactions that are chained together in a chronological order. And personally, I can't tell you what those big companies are doing with blockchain and how it applies. But 3.5 years ago, when I discovered this and got into it, blockchain technology was what was driving all this, and what it does drive all of it. So that's just the cryptocurrency world. But blockchain technology is so useful to business and to large companies that there are mega global companies that are adopting their own blockchain technologies internally. So, blockchain is a technology that's not going anywhere. So for me, it's just another kind of feather in the cap of the technology is sound. And even if cryptocurrency disappears, goes away, and it was a flash in the pan fad, I kind of feel cool that I've been able to contribute to this global blockchain technology database of cryptocurrency in the past couple of years, and it's kind of neat. I can send you my nephew's into cryptocurrency, and I could just, you know, for his birthday or a holiday or something, I could just send him 50, $100 of crypto, and he'll get it. And like, it's just kind of like a fun, you know, I've never bought anything with cryptocurrency. I'm really just holding it as a kind of a hobby thing. And, you know, if it goes as high as they say it's going to go, sweet, I'll buy a boat or something someday. I don't know. But right now it's just a technology hobby. I've been really happy with it. I've more than broken even. I'm ahead. And, you know, I am fully expecting the bottom to drop out again, and then it won't be as lucrative. But if you look at the chart from the beginning till now, even with all the dips and valleys, you know, you look at the overall trend, and it always trends up, and it always comes back stronger than it did before. 2017, it was at 19,000. Nobody thought it would ever get that high. Dropped down to 3,000. Now we're at 2021. It's up to 32 or 33,000. So, you know, for me, it's worth it. But that's been my experience with cryptocurrency, with blockchain technology, with building my own mining rig. It's been kind of a neat journey. My rig's running right behind me here. It's keeping me nice and warm. And I'm getting to contribute to this global decentralized blockchain technology. So take that for what it's worth. But that's all I got. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions or any comments, just leave them down below, and I'll be sure to get you know, back to everybody. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching.